As you guys see, we've arrived in Florida, and we have a pretty exciting video now because my buddy here, Thomas, T King Cummins, as you guys might know him, has this 4th gen G56 single cab dually, and we are going down to Fort Myers right now. We're up in like Tampa to go and film Thomas's truck, show you guys around it. I actually did the lift kit on it about 6 months ago. Full coilovers in the front, blocks in the rear. That thing sits a lot bigger than this truck. So we're filling up now. We're gonna get on the road, head down to Fort Myers here, be there in about 2 hours, and we will walk around Thomas's truck, show you guys. And I am like completely geeked to see this thing because now technically it's a fully loaded 5th gen G56 4th gen, if that makes sense. So to Fort Myers we go. We've arrived at the beautiful sunshine state of Florida, Fort Myers, and go figure, it is raining once again because in Florida, like I've said 100 times, it rains for like 5 minutes, then it's 1,000 degrees out for 20 minutes, cools back down to like 60 degrees, it rains for 5 minutes, then it just repeats that all day. So Mega Cab is here in Florida. Don't ask how it spawned here. I was on a flight last night, and when I landed, it just pulled up as my Uber to the airport and picked me up, and now somehow we've spawned in Fort Myers. So I just noticed that the chrome bumper is definitely leaving the chat, probably because my little brother had to do the water pump, and I said, hey, don't stand on the bumper, because I just kind of threw it on there and painted over chrome like I shouldn't have. So that's what I get for the water pump blowing out. But as you guys can see with what's behind me, my buddy Thomas, you guys may know him as T King Cummins, lives down here in Florida. Fort Myers is like my second home. I'm here like 10 times a year, and I was dying to come down here, check out a single cab, look around it, because I haven't seen this truck since like the beginning of the year, and it was black. It wasn't a 5th gen. It looked like a 4th gen with that front end, and now for some reason it's a 5th gen, and it looks totally different. And he's got wheels and tires on it, so let's go check it out. This thing is huge. Oh my goodness. God, it looks so much different. So what this is a 2014 single cab long bed dually with the G56 from the factory. It has this beautiful blue paint job. I believe he painted this truck to match his crew cab that he built that Gabe bought off of him. But I know when he did the 5th gen front swap, it wasn't just a let's slap fenders on it, a grill, a bumper, and a hood. There's like a lot entailed for this truck to make it look like this. I know he had to take basically everything that surrounds the engine out of the truck and put all the 5th gen stuff inside of it. So when you guys think it might be easy to do this, it's not. I know he FaceTimed me throughout the process, and it was like a very big process to make this thing into a 5th gen. So basically, like I was saying, the motor is for the 4th gen, everything surrounding the motor is for a 5th gen. I know he had to cut some part of the cab, weld a bunch of stuff together to get the front clip to fit on here, because it doesn't look like it, but the 4th gen front clips aren't this long. And on the 4th gen, the grill sits back a little bit versus the 5th gen, the grill sits pretty flush with the front of the truck. I know he was saying he still has to buy tow hooks, so don't drop the comment below. Where's the tow hooks at? You put all that money into a build and you can't buy tow hooks? About 6 months ago, back when the truck was a 4th gen, I came down and we put a 6-inch rough country lift that is sitting at about 9 inches, because when we originally put the lift on, Thomas had me build these custom coilover upper brackets. That way the truck sat at like a 9-inch lift instead of the 6-inch lift that it would be out of the box. There's 26/16 forged wheels on it with a brush finish. Those things look absolutely killer. I've never been a fan of the brushed wheels until I started hanging around Thomas. Now all I want is brushed wheels on my trucks. And the reason why I did brushed wheels on my last blue 2nd gen was because Thomas conned me into it, and seeing it on another blue 2nd gen makes me miss that truck a lot. So obviously it has all the drop breakers from Rough Country on it. He went ahead down here, he did a custom control arm on the truck with a custom bracket right here. And then it has blocks in the rear, still retains the factory overloads, so he don't lose any towing capabilities with this truck. He has 2-inch spacers on the back of it. And the best part about this truck, actually no, there's a lot of best parts. One of the best parts about this truck is what's under the hood. So we come over here, open up this beautiful 5th gen hood that's literally taller than me. He did a 2nd gen swap, painted it a beautiful color to match the lift kit. Huge, massive intake. It has the Spedding diesel manifold on it. He did a coolant bypass, the intake horn, a nice billet valve cover. And the engine bay looks absolutely insane on this thing. Don't mind it right now, it's a little bit dirty. You know, I kind of came to Florida unannounced, like last minute. I called him 8 hours prior to my flight flying out and said, hey, I'm coming down to Florida to film your beautiful truck. With the 5th gen front conversion, he had to run the 5th gen wheel liners, and he mounted rock lights in each one. So I think there's one in this wheel well, one in the other wheel wells, and then a bunch scattered out underneath this truck. And from what he told me, this truck's an absolute spaceship at nighttime. I'm honestly excited to see how bright it is at nighttime, because if you guys didn't know, I love rock lights on everything. I actually just put 44 of them on my mega cab. So I would like to see how bright this one is compared to mine, because I know he had put a lot on it. Another thing he did with the 5th gen front clip swap is he bought the 5th gen fender flares. He bought the 5th gen bed pieces, the rear dually flare pieces, and then this back here is a true work of art as well. We got the 5th gen taillights wired up to properly work with the 4th gen. He went ahead and did the 5th gen tailgate, color matched it all, put the Laramie Longhorn badge on it. 5th gen bumper, still has all the factory park sensors on it, color matched literally everything. If you look at the handle, the 5th gens are full electronic, the 4th gens aren't. So he actually wired up a little button that unlocks his tailgate electronically, which is very nice, because when he locks his truck now, the tailgate will lock, and then the bed cover locks as well. It's a roll and lock bed cover, just like my mega cab. Wait a sec, I didn't even notice this. He's got a cab spoiler on it, and it looks like the factory 5th gen third brake light. So wait a second, is this truck still a 4th gen or is it a 5th gen? Drop a comment below on which one you think it is, because I'm kind of confused now. It's a 4th gen, but it's a 5th gen. It makes no sense. I look down here, he's got this massive 6, actually no, that's like an 8-inch polished elbow on this truck. So he's got 5-inch down there. Jesus, I've never seen an elbow that big. He probably went and bought that off of like a semi, because I've never seen that on someone's truck. It is still the 4th gen factory bed, if you guys were wondering. He went out and bought all the trim pieces, like I was saying, for the bottom of the bed. I didn't even notice that little back rear one. The 5th gen inner wheel liners, 4th gen tow mirrors that he color matched out of the switchback, smoked those. Did his special touch right there so it lights up as a ring, not just one solid light. And if we come over here to the interior, that's honestly probably my favorite part of this, because when you buy a 5th gen, you're really only buying it for that big screen. He has the Longhorn door panels, which he took from a crew cab Longhorn truck, took the door panel all apart, retrofitted it to fit onto the single cab door panel, because the single cab door panels are like 8 inches longer than a regular crew cab door panel. He got the Longhorn floor mats. He actually swapped the whole entire dash out on it, because this truck from the factory didn't have this leather dash, and now it does. Obviously, with that being inside of there, it has the Longhorn gauge cluster, Longhorn steering wheel, Longhorn center console. It has the Longhorn seats. Yes, they do function. They are all wired up. All the power options work. I'm pretty sure it has heated seats as well, has memory, the little back support thing. He re-wrapped the center console, did the Longhorn on the dash right there. It's got a wolf box in it like my big truck. So I was going through Snapchat about a year ago, and I found somebody who had posted on their story that they converted their 4th gen dash to a 5th gen screen. So me being as curious as I am, I swiped up, I messaged them, I said, hey, how'd you get that to work? He said, oh, you just need this custom harness made and a screen, and then some module that goes behind the screen to get it to work. So I sent it over to Thomas. He was like, no way, I have to do that. So he rounded up the parts. He actually got a hold of the guy that did it originally, because I talked to somebody else who just took a photo of it. So he got a hold of that guy. I believe that that guy made him the harness to run this inside of his truck, because factory, you can't just plug the screen into this dash. The whole radio works, functions how it should, has navigation, the volume controls still work on it, has the backup camera, that works as well, which is actually insane that the 5th gen screen works with the 4th gen backup camera. Custom shift boot for the center console. He had to build a shifter to go from the trans, which is like down there underneath this little cubby, run back with like Heim joints to make this thing work and shift as it should. So that's actually really cool. And yes, the truck does have a 2nd gen swap, which just adds to the list of stuff done to this 4th gen, 5th gen, because it literally sounds insane. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think on this beautiful truck. And I don't know, but if you ask me, I'm starting to think I should G56 swap my 4th gen and then do the 5th gen front end on it. So I'm definitely doing the 5th gen tailgate and 5th gen bumper. As you guys might have seen in one of my last videos, I had already purchased a tailgate. And actually, while I'm down here in Florida, I should probably find a bumper really quick. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call somebody and hopefully get a bumper here within the next hour, because I know a guy down here that has them. and I definitely need one while I'm here, because obviously look at this beautiful paint job, and Thomas can make my 5th gen tailgate and bumper have a beautiful paint job on it as well. So you won't be seeing much of this tailgate anymore because I brought my 5th gen tailgate with me down to Florida. It's already all body worked, primed, ready for its final sand. But the 5th gen bumper had gotten dropping off by the time we left where we were just filming Thomas's truck and we drove to here. So now we have a minty 5th gen bumper for it, and it looks like it's pretty nice. The guy said it was a brand new takeoff. It just had one scuff right here, which we can sand out. All the stuff inside of here is there. Lights are there. Has the mounts for it. Has all the trim pieces. And now we can convert the rear of my truck within the next 4 hours before I have to get on a plane and head back home. With that being said, that's going to end today's video. Drop a comment on what you guys think about the single cab. And I'm going to be here sanding these parts and painting them tonight before I head out of here in the morning.